I'm sure just like I do, y'all hear all this news about Trump's big, beautiful bill and this and that and Elon. And then I see a video from Bernie Sanders I want to watch. So I thought I'd come up and just learn with y'all cave dwellers what is Trump's beautiful plan that's in the Senate, Social Security and Medicaid explained. And we're going to watch this channel. Shout out to this channel. All the links to the videos that I react to will be in the description. Let's learn together and then give our opinion at the end. That's it.
There's a big political showdown happening in the Senate right now, and it's all about whether President Trump's big, beautiful bill will pass. The House of Representatives already approved it, but now it's in the Senate, and that's where things are getting tricky. Republicans have a small edge in the Senate, with 53 seats out of 100. That means they can't afford to lose more than 3 votes from their own party. If they do, the bill fails, and no Democrats are expected to support it. The challenge? Republicans themselves are divided. Some think the bill cuts too much, especially from health programs like Medicaid, while others argue it doesn't go far enough. A few have even floated future cuts to Social Security as part of broader spending reforms. That's
no American likes when you talk about cutting Social Security. I don't think on the left or right, the majority do not like when any president or anybody talking about Social Security, something that we as Americans feel we work, give our blood, sweat, and tears and save up. That's our checking account, or that's our savings account that is building up for our life, and we could dip into that for retirement. Now we all hope that in our American dream, in our pursuit of happiness, that we make a lot of money, we become multimillionaires, and Social Security don't even matter no more. That's what we hope. But we might have to dip into it if we get hurt or something else. Who knows? We all got to get dip into that.
Creating real tension, since many Americans view Social Security as off limits.
Exactly.
So let's break it down.
Exactly.
What's actually in the bill? What's being debated? And how could it affect your benefits? Let's take a closer look at the key proposals and the high-stakes fight unfolding in the Senate. One of the first issues causing real disagreement among Republicans is Social Security. While President Trump has pledged not to cut Social Security benefits, this bill falls short.
I've heard him do this over and over again.
Of earlier promises to eliminate taxes on Social Security income. Instead, it introduces a $4,000 standard deduction for seniors 65 and older, but only if you make less than $75,000 as an individual or $150,000 as a couple. That's meant to lower how much of your income is taxed. And for many seniors, every bit of relief helps. But this deduction is temporary and set to expire in 2028. Still, many seniors were hoping for more, especially the full repeal of taxes on Social Security benefits. Some lawmakers, like Senator Ron Johnson, have even proposed reclassifying Social Security as discretionary spending, meaning it would need to be voted on each year, a move that could threaten the stability of the...
Hell no. Hell no, Senator Johnson. See, we need to find out the people like this and get him out of here. Where's he from? Where's he voting? Matter of fact, I'm going to look it up right now. Senator Johnson. Let's see. Okay, here we go. United States Senator Ron Johnson. Wisconsin. Wisconsin. Don't vote this motherfucker in again. The people of Wisconsin get together and do not vote this motherfucker in again. What are we doing? He wants to make it a yearly thing. No, it should be treated the same way like veteran funds is, or it should be non-taxable. That's what it should be, because you spend your whole fucking life. That's blood, sweat, and tear equity. Literally sweat equity.
Have even proposed reclassifying the program. A lot of people feel like they're being taxed twice. Once when they earn the money, and again when they retire.
Exactly.
The failure to fix this issue is frustrating for many, and some lawmakers have said they want to revisit it later. This internal split has made it hard for Republicans to agree on how far to go. Some say the bill should do more for seniors, while others are worried about the rising national debt. And then there's Medicaid, another major sticking point. If you or someone in your family uses Medicaid, here's what you need to know. The bill proposes new work requirements for certain adults to qualify. It also freezes provider taxes that many states use to help fund Medicaid, especially rural states. That means some states could lose critical funding, making it harder to keep local clinics and small-town hospitals open.
No.
In some areas, seniors could be forced to travel further just to access basic care, which adds both time and cost, something that's not always easy for those living on fixed incomes or with mobility issues. Senators like Susan Collins from Maine and Lisa Murkowski from Alaska are speaking out. They're worried that seniors and rural residents would be hit the hardest. When healthcare access is already limited, even small funding changes can have big effects: fewer doctors, longer travel, or higher costs. In states with large rural populations, this could quickly turn into a crisis of access, where seniors are unable to get timely checkups, treatments, or medication support. And then, there's the idea of new copays for Medicaid users. Senator Josh Hawley of Missouri calls it a sick tax. He says that asking people who are already sick or poor to pay more just to see a doctor isn't fair. And for many seniors on a fixed income, even $5 or $10 extra could mean skipping a visit or prescription. This change could discourage preventive care, leading to worse health outcomes and higher costs down the road. Beyond healthcare and taxes, the bill would also raise the debt ceiling, which is basically the country's borrowing limit. Senator Rand Paul and others say they won't vote for that unless Congress also agrees to slash federal spending back to 2019 levels. That's a big ask. It would mean cuts across the board, including programs that help seniors and veterans. Programs like housing support, transportation assistance, and nutritional programs such as Meals on Wheels could see funding reductions if these spending targets are enforced. So right now, you've got moderates like Murkowski and Collins saying the bill cuts too much, and hardliners like Rand Paul saying it doesn't cut enough. And with only 53 Republicans in the Senate, they need almost every single one to say yes. This creates a fragile balancing act where every vote counts, and just one or two defections could send the entire package back to the drawing board. And here's the kicker. Even if the Senate passes the bill, it doesn't go straight to the president. It has to go back to the House of Representatives. If the Senate makes too many changes, the House might not agree, and the whole thing could collapse. That would mean more delays, more uncertainty, and potentially another fight just to keep the government funded. So what happens if it fails? The U.S. could hit the debt ceiling later this summer. That means the government might not have enough money to pay its bills. Social Security checks could be delayed. Veterans' benefits could be paused.
They always say that they're never going to pause these things. The banks just pay them out like the government gives them an IOU, like, and they keep paying. Like, what happens if the government never starts back up? Then there's no such thing as America no more, and the companies and the banks going to go out of business anyway. So they keep paying these things, and the government just catch up with them later. The money is pretend money anyway. Most of it's just ones and zeros on a fucking computer screen now. It's not real money in the banks.
And financial markets could get rocky, which could hurt retirement accounts. If markets drop suddenly, many seniors relying on 401(k)s or pensions might see their nest eggs take a hit. This isn't just a Washington issue. It's a real concern for anyone trying to live on what they've worked for their whole lives. We've seen this kind of fear before. Back in April 2025, financial markets took a hit after Trump announced new tariffs on goods from China, Mexico, and the European Union. That single move sparked panic among investors, and many 401(k)s and retirement accounts saw sudden losses. So when people hear that the government might not be able to pay its bills, they worry, and for good reason. Now, let's take a moment to clear up some confusion around Social Security and Medicare. Many people are wondering if this bill changes how much they'll receive from Social Security. It doesn't, at least not the monthly benefit amounts. But here's the catch. It could still impact how those benefits are taxed. If your income lands near the current tax thresholds, even small changes in deductions or rules could push more of your Social Security into taxable territory. That's frustrating for a lot of retirees who feel like they're being taxed twice, once when they earn the money and again when they receive it in retirement. And while this bill offers a new $4,000 deduction for some seniors, it doesn't fully fix the tax problem. It's one of those issues that keeps getting talked about but never fully solved. And what about Medicare? A lot of people lump Medicare and Medicaid together, but they're different programs. This bill doesn't change Medicare benefits for now, but it's always worth watching, especially as lawmakers look for ways to trim spending. If they're already eyeing Medicaid for cuts, Medicare might not be far behind in future negotiations. So this is more than just another Washington debate. It's personal. If you're retired or close to it, this bill could affect your taxes, your health care, and your peace of mind. And for those living on a fixed income, even small changes can hit hard. These changes could shape how you live day to day, whether you have access to a doctor, whether you can afford medication, and whether your benefits arrive on time. So here's what you can do. Stay informed. Call your senators, especially if you live in a state where one of the swing votes is like Alaska, Maine, Kentucky, or Missouri. Let them know how these changes could affect you. They really do pay attention when enough people speak up. If enough voices are heard, senators may feel more pressure to protect the services and support seniors rely on. And finally, what worries you the most about this bill? The Medicaid changes? The tax deductions? Or the risk to Social Security?
So what are y'all worried about out there, huh? Let me know, cave dwellers. What are y'all worried about out there in the bill? I feel like I see Trump as a reasonable guy. They might have put this bill out. Hopefully, usually what happens is he feels what the people are saying and he redirects it. He might blame it on somebody else or say, oh, we never meant it that way, but whatever. But they should put that in there. If that's like, nah, you can't be taxing us twice. If anything, we thought that like Trump would be the one that say like, nah, we're not taxing it at all. That's what I want to see. We're not taxing that shit at all. Now, I just want to look at, Elon said something about it.
Over the White House in D.C. as we continue our coverage on this Wednesday, June 4th. Take a look. We do know here that Senate Republicans are expected to meet today to walk through their plans for that is coming. He loves voting no on everything. He thinks it's good politics, but it's not. The BBB, that is the big beautiful bill, is a big winner. A lot to discuss here, so I do want to bring in Casey Myers, Professor of Public Relations and Director of Graduate Studies at Virginia Tech School of Communications. Welcome in this morning. Thank you so much.
Inflection point of the Trump agenda for...
Actually, you know what I want to see? I want to listen to Bernie Sanders first.
Thank you all for being with me. As many of you know, the U.S. House of Representatives recently passed the so-called reconciliation bill by a vote of 215 to 214, a one-vote margin. Every Democrat voted against this bill. Almost every Republican voted for it. In the coming weeks, the U.S. Senate is expected to take the bill up. Let me take this opportunity to tell you what is in this piece of legislation. At a time of massive income and wealth inequality, this bill makes the obscenely rich, the oligarchs, even richer, while attacking the most basic needs of working families and the most vulnerable people in our society.
I agree.
This bill provides massive tax breaks to the richest people and largest corporations and pays for them by making gigantic cuts to Medicaid, the Affordable Care Act, nutrition, education, and other programs that are life and death for working families, the children, and the elderly. This bill is what Trump economics is all about. If you are rich or a large multinational corporation, if you can make huge campaign contributions, you are entitled to massive tax breaks, and Congress will give you those tax breaks.
I don't know if I agree with that, if you can make campaign contributions. I like to think Trump is trying to do the right thing. Even if I don't agree with him, like I think he might be like, oh, let's give them tax breaks so they can provide more jobs and grow and America can dominate over China. That's what I think his reasoning would be.
But if you're working class or poor, and you can't make those large campaign contributions, you are entitled to nothing. You're not entitled to health care through Medicaid. You're not entitled to a nutrition program to feed your kids. You're not entitled to a decent education. Trumpism is about the belief that we live in a dog-eat-dog world where the big dogs are able to eat the little dogs. And that is the way it is. This bill would provide a $664 billion tax break to the top 1% at a time when the top 1% already own more wealth than the bottom 93%. It would provide a $420 billion tax breaks to large multinational corporations that are stashing their profits in offshore tax havens like the Cayman Islands. And by the way, this tax break makes it easier for those companies to invest in robots and artificial intelligence, with the result that they're going to be able to throw workers out on the streets. And how would Trump and the Republicans in Congress pay for these huge tax breaks for the wealthy and large corporations? Well, at a time when over 85 million Americans today are uninsured or underinsured, this bill slashes Medicaid and the Affordable Care Act by more than $715 billion. The Congressional Budget Office, the CBO, has estimated that this bill would eliminate health care for 13.7 million Americans. Almost 14 million Americans would lose their health care. Further, at a time when 22% of our seniors are trying to survive on less than $15,000 a year, and I don't know how anybody survives on that, this legislation will make it much harder for seniors to receive the care they desperately need in nursing homes. And here is something else that is really quite shocking. Just this week, Yale University and the University of Pennsylvania estimated that if this bill is enacted, over 50,000 Americans will die unnecessarily due to the massive cuts to Medicaid and the Affordable Care Act. It's not rocket science. If people don't have access to health care and can't get to a doctor when they are sick, many will die unnecessarily. But it's not just our health care system that would be devastated by this legislation. While this bill provides massive tax breaks to billionaires, it would cut $290 billion from nutrition programs and would literally take food away from more than 2 million children and at least 250,000 low-income seniors. Recently, as you may have seen, on the TV program Meet the Press, Speaker Mike Johnson said that there was a quote-unquote moral component to this bill, a moral component. He was referring to the fact that this bill would require Americans to prove that they are working at least 80 hours a month before receiving Medicaid or food stamps. Let us see how quote-unquote moral that requirement really is. Last year, some 20 million Americans were either laid off or fired by their employers. They lost their jobs. And in our dysfunctional and cruel healthcare system, when you lose your job, you lose your healthcare.
Yeah. I think maybe there should be like a if you lost your job, you still get health care for like a year, or like if you get out the military, you still get health care covered for like your first year or whatever out the military. Like you still get teeth seeing in the dentist or whatever, and certain things. There should be a package like that. If you're released, you still get health care for, depending on the reason, right? As long as there ain't no violence, you still get health care for a year or whatever. 6 months, 8 months, whatever, so you can go get doctors, final visits, whatever. It could be the same way. Like, I guess there is a pocket of Americans that would think, like, hey, we don't mind that you have to work in order to get food stamps or Section 8. We don't mind. Like you should be at least be looking for something if you are working. But there should be other requirements. Otherwise, there'll be a big gap or a loophole, and they'll be like, "I'm sorry, I wish I could help you, but you just make $1 too much. Yeah, you just work 80 hours. You just need to work 79 hours or whatever. Oh, you need to work less than 30 hours according to our pay range, and you work 29.8, and they rounding up, and now you don't get it. You just barely making it. There's a lot of people that need help that are working, and they're barely making it, and they don't qualify for food stamps or Section 8. And they're like, damn, if I qualify for this, I just need help. So there's a lot of people in America that are like jealous of the other people. They got somebody that's not working and paying $16 of rent, and they rent more than $1,500. All they got to do is pay $200, and they behind on that. Some people get mad.
And that is what Medicaid is supposed to be all about. It is supposed to be there for those people who need it the most, the people, among others, who lose their jobs. All of us remember what happened during the COVID pandemic. In March and April of 2020, 22 million workers lost their jobs in a 2-month period. 22 million workers. People were lined up for miles at food banks to feed their families. What would have happened to them if they were unable to receive Medicaid or nutrition assistance? How many would have ended up in total desperation? How many would have actually died?
Yeah.
Well,
we all know if you in America, if you out here in these streets, then you know that some people go to school or send their kids to school just so they can eat. Some kids, that is their only meal. They go to school for breakfast, lunch, and late lunch if they got it, a second lunch if they got it, whatever it is. They asking kids, hey, you want that? You don't? Some kids depend on that. A lot.
Maybe you're thinking, that was then. It will never happen again. Well, take a look at what happened when Wall Street crashed the economy. Between October of 2008 and April of 2009, an average of 700,000 Americans lost their jobs every month through no fault of their own. What would have happened to many of those people without Medicaid, food stamps, and other federal assistance? But it's not just COVID and the 2008 recession that we should be thinking about. Consider what will likely be happening to jobs in our country in the very near future.
Yeah.
Just last week, Dario Amodei, the CEO of Anthropic, one of the world's most powerful creators of artificial intelligence, predicted that AI, quote, could wipe out half of all entry-level white-collar jobs and spike unemployment 10 to 20% in the next 1 to 5 years, end of quote. Let me repeat. The head of one of the most
But then those people will do something else. Like, in my mind, it could lead to world peace. Like, it's so many people, the robots figure out a way to go to desolate lands and build, and now you got workers and doing this and that, and they moving and they finding things out for us, and they're speeding up the level that we cure diseases. Well, now we're looking at Mars and outer space, and now people getting smarter, and there's more technology, and there's more readily available because the robots doing it. People going to start being more, hippies and one with the world. Now we figure out, okay, can the robots help us with natural disasters? Can the robots help us with lessening our carbon footprints? The robots is a help. Now, imagine a place where you don't need to work almost. Like, everybody's good, and we sharing resources, and it's an open borders with China and this world peace, and we all loving of every religion, and we just like, because we got the robots, and the robots like, nah, don't do this. And we got robot negotiators and AI. Now they negotiating between Israel and Hamas and Palestine and Palestine, and they're like, hey, yeah, let's do this and let's make sense. And the robots like, we got a defense, and nobody need nuclear weapons anymore because You know what I mean? It wouldn't get out, and everybody got robots that just vacuums them up, or they got something that would just defeat them and make them null and void or something, like, because everybody could shoot them down, so then nukes won't be a big deal no more. And everybody like, oh, it's not Iran, you want some nukes? It don't matter no more. Yeah, we got this stuff that the robots gave us, so if you put a nuke in the air, we just go to where it's about to explode and put this liquid in the sky, and all of the nuclear energy just get absorbed or something. Or we got this reflective shield and this dome that the robots gave us, and yeah, nukes don't really do nothing no more. So what you got? World peace. Oh yeah, y'all need some resources. What y'all need over there? Oh yeah, we can take this non-fertile desert land you got right here in Gaza, and we could put some put something in there. Let's rake the land, sow over, y'all. Use some horses, go back and forth. Boom. Now this land good. We can grow pineapples anywhere. Helping us make new fruit and shit. Oh, y'all ain't ever think about putting this guava fruit with this lime and let it sit for 8 days, and then you take that and put it with a strawberry, and then when the strawberry is good, you take it back and put that in the center of a mango and bury it, and the roots will actually combine or some shit. That's what I imagine. It ain't all bad.
Powerful AI companies in the world is telling us that half of all entry-level white-collar jobs could be eliminated as a result of AI. And many blue-collar jobs will be eliminated through advances in robotics.
It's always, like, literally, when slavery, right, then you had the invention of the cotton gin, and the North was progressing. The South, literally, the fucking Civil War was over, like, yo, we need this because we picking cotton and we need free labor. We don't know how we're going to compete with the North. They got building the stuff, and the North like, nah, y'all got to come up with the times. Y'all got to pay for labor. And they're like, we don't know what to do. Well, the South is doing pretty good today, ain't it? Without no slavery. Somehow it went. It's mass employment, and we don't know what to do. We ain't going to be able to compete. Now you can. And the newspapers came, and it's like, oh, my God, look at all these people that work in the newspaper, the newsrooms, and you got these big buildings in New York and L.A., and he's got these corporations and the radio. Oh, my God, what's going to happen to the news industry when the internet came along? They're going to be out of jobs. Nah, instead of being in the office and you have to go to work downtown, you could be in your living room and be a mom, and you can make some blogs, and people can read them, or you can make some YouTube videos like this, and you can have it. I don't got to be in NBC or ABC, and you're live with your evening news. This is Saladeen Ellis with From the Cave from NBC, right? I don't got to be there. I could be in my goddamn house and do this and not be anxious all the time and go out and watch myself and looking behind my back, and that's what I'll do. There's progress. You're just not seeing the imagination. Like, there's literally used to be people that clean up horse poop downtown New York when they had buggies and stuff and used horses, because somebody got to clean up the horse poop in the middle of these cobble streets. Well, they lost their job. Now you got gas station attendants. You just got to see what's going on. Now, instead of people, you still going to need plumbers and stuff, but instead of people doing McDonald's and things like that, now entry level is going to be data entry or something online or whatever it is. There's always going to be things.
And let us not forget, Medicaid does not just provide health insurance for individual Americans. It is the major source of funding for nursing homes throughout our country.
Got to protect those.
Are my Republican friends going to suggest that seniors and people with severe disabilities work 80 hours a month before they can get Medicaid to pay for their nursing home coverage? Is that what they're thinking? And let me get back for a moment to the so-called morality issue. I happen not to be active in organized religion, not my thing. But I have read the Bible. And this is what Jesus said, and I quote, "For I was hungry, and you gave me something to eat. I was thirsty, and you gave me something to drink. I was a stranger, and you invited me in. I needed clothes, and you clothed me. I was sick, and you looked after me. End of quote. That, my friends, is what morality is all about. I would hope that my colleagues in the Senate, especially those who claim to be religious, remember that very powerful passage.
Easy.
And let us be frank, in no religion, not Christianity, Judaism, Islam, Buddhism, or any other, is it considered moral to enrich those who need it the least while taking basic necessities, food, healthcare, away from the desperate people who need it the most. Together, we can and must defeat this terrible legislation.
I agree with Bernie, man. This is terrible legislation. I think if everything that we've seen and explained to us is true, then Trump needs to do something about it. That's just simple and plain. The people didn't vote for him to take away things, and if they touch that, I think it'd be a riot. If they touch Social Security and Medicare and other benefits, it's going to be a fucking riot, a riot in this country. That affect a lot of black people, and it affect a lot of white people also. It's going to be a mixed fucking riot, and hey, if we got to do that, we got to do that. That's one thing I'm going to say that the Democrats don't do, is that they don't take ownership. Hey, if somebody wrong, we're going to light a fucking torch to their ass. That's it. It don't matter who it is. The Democrats be, oh, no. And I'm not a Republican. I'm fucking independent. I just happen to think that this voting period that we just had, the Republican candidate was better than the Democratic candidate, the female that they put up, that was just giving, and it was just, hey, here you go. There was no just do. There was no other alternatives, and you vote on it. It was just take it or leave it. This is her. And a denial of that president being sick, Joe Biden being sick, and I'm like, I can't stand him. No. I'd rather do Trump, and maybe he'll stop Netanyahu and Israel from bombing the shit out of Gaza. Hopefully we stop that, and they'll stop the Ukraine-Russia war. And it's getting a little out of hand, but there has been some updates because him and Netanyahu ain't been on good terms, so hopefully he tell Netanyahu to stop. Remember, we're not against Israel. It's against Netanyahu specifically, who's purposely keeping this war going on longer so he won't face any charges, and they can't arrest him while this goddamn war is going on. And he's scared for it to end. I think he's just doing it, whether it was necessary or not. Everybody believe, okay, it was necessary. They attacked them. They got attacked. Boom. There goes life. But now it's a little excessive. We're over a year now. But if this legislation is true, they need to fix it. Trump need to hear the people, and they're going to fix it. We don't think Trump is the smartest cookie, but we just think he want to make America great. I believe he still want to make America great. And hopefully he can see his mistakes and he'll fix it. Whether they probably lie about it. Oh, well, we're fixing it because of this and that. And it was this guy who took it out, and Trump always wanted it in. We don't care as long as it get in. But the people won't stand for that. We can't stand. We cannot stand for that. Not with such a large amount going towards the military. Like, they want to increase the military budget. Like, ain't nobody dropping nukes on nobody. Like, it's a fucking AI race. Like, and after that is world peace probably. It don't matter. Like, China and Russia and they're not going to attack us. What the fuck? We need our military so great. Nobody coming to attack us. Everybody want to get here. When people attack us, but they want to just they want to take it. It's like they're greedy to just sell weapons and more weapons and more weapons and more weapons. And we need this for research and medical and the military. No, you don't. We the strongest. We the best. Cool. We out of shape though. Everybody out of shape. We're going to AI. Like, it's stupid to take away from Medicare and the seniors in order to increase that budget. Like, if you're looking to cut the deficit, cut the military fucking budget, they'll be good with it. They're the military. They're born to fight, trained to kill. We love it. As a veteran myself, like, you don't need to increase and leave it where it is. Don't fucking increase it and take from somewhere else. We're not fighting a major war. It's not going to happen. We got an abundance of that. Like, come on. Russia's in a war with Ukraine. They can barely do it. They're not gonna fight us. China not gonna fucking fight us. If China and America fight, it's the end of the fucking world. Wrap it up. We're not worried about how big the military is. Who gonna win that fight? There's no winning. There's where we bomb back to the fucking dinosaurs. Ain't nobody worry about it. Help the veterans and the seniors and everybody else, man. Let me know what y'all think in the comments. Like, share, subscribe, man. Cave Dwellers.